With the exception of Majora and the Deku Princess, the examples given in Q&A 44 and all of the numbers given in QA 42, with a slight adjustment made after a revision for Q&A 44, are based on the most cost-efficient model for the staging of the opera. If ideal resources were available, I would always push for a larger ensemble and a more varied cast, which would indeed mean that there would be different singers for each and every part. The staging reference tome is supposed to include guidelines for both minimum and ideal scenarios. I would say that the vast majority of the opera includes singing. It's an opera after all. Dance numbers with or without singers, although few, would still be more common than instrumentals without stage action. The very task of reducing the action of the game to stage already does half the work. It will sound like a conventional opera, and it will almost work out like a conventional opera, as I break the typical one set per act rule. So for all intents and purposes, to any opera goer, it is an opera. Story-wise, I find that I must avoid giving importance to elements that are solely familiar to those who've played the game. As I've said before, the work must be self-contained. Easter eggs and parallel or overarching information are a thing, but they are not vital to the plot. I've been composing and arranging for 11 years, the product of which is free to listen at my website. I play the piano, although only as a tool for composition. I was told I had potential to be a good interpreter, but not only does it not interest me, I have terrible stage fright. My experience with instruments was indirectly enhanced by my fascination with orchestration. It's by far the field about which I insisted on devouring the most information. Either works for me, as long as I have a chance to show them the complete staging reference tome and all the material in its finest form possible at this phase. Should the staging be rejected, I would never be at peace if the material presented at the pitch weren't at its best.